Yeah, it's just that nobody speaks English.
All right, I got this.
You just hope one of the winners speaks English. 3-4, is that kind of the thing you like to do?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're a 3-4 structure, but in reality, we play as much 4 down as 3 down. I mean, if you were to look at our tape last year, we'd have looked a lot like your guys looked structurally at times during the game. By being a 3 down structure, it allows us to play 3 down and 4 down fronts, give us multiple looks, which I think you need to do today in college football to try to put the offense behind the sticks and to create negative yardage plays. So that's how we're structured. You know, right now we're kind of mixing, matching our guys. The GAs basically made a 25 to 30 play tape of everybody that's coming back. And we've kind of went through those tapes and preliminary put guys in positions to see what best combination of players give us a chance to win the game. I mean, we're really in the early stages of it right now. At the end of the day, it's about getting your best 11 players on the field at one time.
And how aggressive do you like to be? A lot of blitzes and things like that? Or?
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. Everybody says we like to blitz. We actually do pressure. My thought on that is, you know, the 2 things you have to do to play good defense is, number 1, you have to stop the run. Can't let people run the ball on you. And then the next thing is you got to make the quarterback play bad. So how do you make the quarterback play bad? And that goes to disguise, that goes to jams and reroutes, that goes to playing what we term as pattern match zone coverages, but it's also pressuring the guy. Now, we play a little bit more what we call zone replacements than, say, all-out blitzes. And what that means is yeah, we're bringing a safety or we're bringing a nickel or we're bringing a corner, but in reality, we're still playing a form of zone, you know, with that. So we try to mix and match that to be balanced in what we're doing. But at the end of the day, it's how do you affect the run and not let people effectively run the ball, and then how do you get pressure and make the quarterback you're playing against play back.
Who was your inspiration, kind of how you developed your style?
You know, I've been fortunate that I've been able to coach around a lot of quality people, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. You know, you go back to Frank Beamer's where I first started as a GA. You know, he was really a defensive special teams guy. And then from there, obviously, I went with Nick Saban at Michigan State, was fortunate enough to be around him. And a lot of the core things that we do is from my time with him. But, you know, since then, you know, I mean, Dom Capers was a guy that really first brought out the fire zone. I was with him for 3 years. Vic Fangio is one of the top coordinators in pro football right now. Wade Phillips, you know, his defenses have been, when I was with him, we were actually number 2 in the league and led the NFL in sacks. So I've been fortunate to be around a lot of quality guys from that standpoint. And I think what you do is you take a little bit of each person and you kind of develop it with your identity and who you are. You know, I'm kind of a passionate guy about playing. I think there's a certain identity that you need to play with to be good, which is really what we're starting with our players right now, is trying to define that identity to what we want to be, which is fast, physical, and aggressive in our play. So at the end of the day, I've kind of taken a little bit of everybody that I've been around and tried to formulate it into really what best fits the players that I have now. Meaning we'll probably be a little different than we were last year, just like last year's defense was different than the one I had the year before that. Because you always, to me, you want to find ways to get your best players on the field, and you want to always find ways to match them up so they can have success. Because the game is about matchups. At the end of the day, it's about tackling the guy with the ball, and how can we win our one-on-one matchups. So, you know, I've been fortunate to be around a lot of quality people and try to take the things that they've taught or they believed in to kind of be myself in what I do.
Thomas on the left.
How did your relationship with Dan kind of begin, and how was that last year working with him?
Well, it was really good. I mean, first of all, you know, Dan's an offensive guy, but he really has a defensive mentality. Like, if you look, I mean, he's always going to talk about playing great team defense. And statistically, if you look at last year, you know, we went from 110th to 10th in total defense. And yeah, we played better on defense, but really the offense gets a lot of credit for that too. If you would go back and look at the amount of double-digit possessions they had, where they would have drives of 8, 10-play drives, things like that. You know, field position where you keep people backed up, because when teams are backed up, meaning they got 80 yards to go for a touchdown, their chances of scoring really go down, whereas if they get the ball at midfield, they obviously go up. So he really has a defensive approach to the way he calls the game and plays the game and the way he recruits. So philosophically, he and I believe in a lot of the same things from that standpoint. It's been a good working relationship because as he learns our defense, we can pick his brain from an offensive perspective on what things are hard or things like that. And it's just been a good working relationship.
Nick on the right.
Coming in as a first year with the defense, how much of it is adjusting what you like to do and normally do to the guys you have versus trying to find spots where they kind of fit into what you like to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's about getting your best players on the field. What do they do best? And then how can we effectively stop the run and affect the quarterback? We're going to take the same approach that I've taken everywhere I've been with what we're doing right now to install things. We're going to work to cross-train guys so guys will play more than one position, because at the end of the day, with the way your defensive backs are and the way your outside backers are, I mean, you're going to play multiple things. So we're going to teach guys how to play multiple positions, cross-train those guys to put them in best position to play, but also what combination of players gives us the best chance to play that game. And that's really the whole thing to me, is how can we get our players in position to be successful in what we're doing. So, you know, that whole thing about 3-4, 4-3, I mean, to me it's really about, we're a 3-4 structure, but we play 4 down and 3 down, and we're going to find ways to get our best players on the field, and we're going to change every year relative to the playmakers, because you know, defense is about winning your one-on-one matchups.
So for you, there has to be a lot of flexibility, not just in your first year, but year to year basis.
I think you always got to be that way, because in recruiting, you know, I mean, that's just the way it is in pro football too with free agency. I mean, in recruiting, you know, each guy you get is not going to be same as. Each guy is going to have something different that he does a little bit better. So when you have that, I think you got to play or lend yourself to playing what your players do best, and you kind of formulate it that way. Now, I think the biggest thing is you always go back to what is your identity, how you play, and meaning you've always got to play with effort. You've always got to play with physical toughness. So we're really into the compete mode, the competitive toughness thing right now. Those are the things I think that you have to have as a core. As far as, you know, what exact front you're playing, what exact coverage you're playing, what exact blitz you're running, I think all of that stuff is really independent each year relative to the players you have.
Edgar on the left.
Yeah, hey Coach, the team's coming off a pretty rough year, and the defense that had sustained success until last year.
Mm-hmm.
How do you kind of make it fun again for these guys and you know, get back on track?
Well, number one, I'm not really worried about what happened last year. I'm more about what's going to happen moving forward. To me, it's about understanding the work ethic, working to develop the habitual traits you need to be successful. Yeah, I think you do need to make it fun. I think that we do a lot of competitive things now where you're going against a teammate, and there's a winner and loser. I mean, there's a winner and loser in everything you do. And, you know, winning's fun and losing is not as fun as you'd like it, so you continue to work hard and try to win the next drill. So the biggest thing right now is really trying to instill the core values of competitive toughness, mental and physical toughness, understanding that attention to detail matters, exactness matters, playing hard matters, being able to define that for them. I think that we live in an age now where as players, they'll run through the wall for you and they'll do those things, but sometimes you got to explain why or give it a definition. So, you know, we make sure that there's a good understanding of everything we want. There's a reason why we're doing it this way, and continue to, you know, work and develop our relationships with them.
Well, the strength program, what have you seen from it so far? I mean, you've been around Nick for 1 year.
Yeah, I think Nick does a great job. I think that when you look at the success that we had at Mississippi State last year was a huge relationship to what he had done in that program. I think that you can say right now it's probably the most critical phase right now in our strength. Right now we're in our strength phase. And I think being in that strength phase, conditioning phase for this upcoming season is a critical component of us being successful. And I think we got to continue to develop that and make sure that we get the necessary gains out of that we need before the season starts.
Ryan up front.
What was the process after Dan got here and getting you on board, and were you talking to other schools? Was there a decision to make for you?
There was, but you know, I'm a people's guy, and I enjoy my working relationship with Dan. I got a lot of respect for what he had done at Mississippi State. I mean, he's a really good coach. I really like the way philosophically he believes in recruiting and that development part of it. I believe in his program. And, you know, to me, it's exciting about creating a change, changing a culture, developing an identity, being able to hold that crystal up here. I mean, those things are exciting to me, and I got belief in what he's done and want to be a part of it.
And what sense do you have already of the personnel you're inheriting, and just where some of those pieces might fit?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I really like the way our players approach what we ask them to do. We're working hard to develop the identity that we need. We're working hard to develop the habitual traits you need to be successful in this league. We're not there yet, but we have the right mindset and the right attitude that will get us where we need to be. The biggest thing is we got to continue to take coaching, take the corrections that we make, and apply them the next day to make that improvement. So that part of it I like. You know, athletically, I like the guys that we have. I think that we have pieces in place. We just got to put them together, and that's really what spring is for to me. You know, we'll mix and move guys around and try to find out what combination of players give us the best chance to be successful. But the biggest thing is I like the approach that our guys take on a daily basis to try to do the things we're asking them to do, because it's not easy and it's probably harder than it's been on them in a while, and they're doing it the right way.
In the back.
Coach, you're someone who's known for developing individual talent throughout your career. Now, some of the new kids in the freshman class, are there any athletes you're really looking forward to working with this upcoming offseason? Any specific guys from this past recruiting class you look forward to?
You know, honestly, I'm looking forward to developing and coaching everybody. I mean, I think that we have some good players here now that maybe didn't have the 6 seasons that they wanted to have last year, and I think that, you know, there's a little bit of chip or an edge with that, because I think that they feel probably they're better than the performance dictated last year. So to me, it's really about developing all the players in our program to be the best they can be, and if they do that, then I think that we'll be fine next year. So to me, it's really about developing all our guys.
Bob on the right.
Hey, Coach, can you talk a little bit about Christian Robinson? And I know you coached him, and he's followed you around a little bit. Just talk about him as a coach.
Yeah, I mean, Christian is a guy that, first of all, he played for me at the University of Georgia. He was our third down linebacker, which meant he only played on third down because he understood what he was doing and everything. So Christian was a guy that was really smart and understood the concepts and really got the most out of his ability. Once he got done playing, he became a graduate assistant for me. He's been a GA. I actually wanted him to go with me when I went to the University of Louisville. He wanted to try something else for a while. Did that, and then once I went to Mississippi State, he had an option to take another coaching opportunity or come with me. And you know, I kind of said, because he'd been doing it for quite a few years, I said, hey, come with me, and I'll let you work with the inside backers with me as I work with all the backers. And then from there, with this 10th assistant, when he comes in, you know, if you do the kind of job I think you can do, I'll work hard to try to make you that 10th guy. And he did a great job for me last year. He's really good with the players. He understands guys. He understands our system. He understands the habitual traits and the way I want guys coached, and he does all those things. I think that he has a really bright future as a coach, and I think he'll be a great asset to our program. And when it got down to, all right, who do you want to hire to coach inside backers? To me, it was easy because I'd been around the guy as a player, as a coach for years, and knew what kind of person he was. To me, you want to get those kind of people in your program and guys that want to work hard and can develop players. So to me, it was really easy to make that choice to hire him.